Hi guys. Yesterday in reading, we were talking about the characters in a book. And when we talk about the characters in a book, we are talking about the people or the animals in the book. So we read Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and our characters, remember we did this page together. Our characters were Goldilocks, Baby Bear, Mama Bear, and Papa Bear. Those were the people and the animals in the story. Today we're going to talk about the setting of a story. The setting is where the characters are in the story. So in Goldilocks and the Three Bears, when I read you our book today, I want you paying attention to where these characters are, where it looks like they are. Normally we can tell from the pictures, or sometimes the book even tells us. Maybe they're at the beach, or they're in the woods. It's going to tell us. So let's read and find out. Before we read, we always talk about the parts of our book. We've learned about the front cover with our title, the back cover, and the spine that holds everything together. Yesterday, I also talked to you about the author and the illustrator. The author's job is to write the words. The illustrator's job is to draw the pictures. Now, this guy, James Marshall is his name. He's one of those hard workers who did both jobs. He wrote the words and he made these pictures. So he's a super hard worker. Let's read this story about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's a little bit different than the one we read yesterday. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once there was a little girl called Goldilocks. What a sweet child, someone said, and said someone new in town. That's what you think, said a neighbor. Uh-oh. She's swinging. She's about to splash in that big pool. One morning, Goldilocks' mother sent her to buy muffins in the next village. You must promise not to take the shortcut through the forest, she said. I've heard that bears live there. I promise, said Goldilocks. But to tell the truth, Goldilocks was one of those naughty little girls who do exactly as they please. That means she does whatever she wants. Not very good. Here she goes. I don't remember this part in the story I read yesterday. There was no Goldilocks and her mom that sent her to the village. So it's a little bit different. Meanwhile, in a clearing deeper inside the forest, in a charming house all their own, a family of brown bears was sitting down to breakfast. Patooey, cried big old Papa Bear. This porridge is scalding. I've burned my tongue. I'm dying, cried Baby Bear. Now really, said Mama Bear, who was a medium size, that's quite enough. I know, said Papa Bear. Why don't we go for a spin while the porridge is cooling? Excellent, said Mama Bear. So they got on their rusty old bicycle and off they went. Did they ride a bicycle in yesterday's story? I don't remember that. A few minutes later, Goldilocks arrived at the bear's house. She walked right in without even bothering to knock. On the dining room table were three inviting bowls of porridge. Don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, helping herself to the biggest bowl. Uh-oh. This part's the same. Broken. But the porridge in the biggest bowl was much too hot. Patooey, cried Goldilocks as she spat it out. Next, she tasted the porridge in the medium-sized bowl, but that porridge was much too cold. Then Goldilocks tasted the porridge in the little bowl, and it was just right. Neither too hot or too cold. In fact, she liked it so much that she gobbled it all up. Feeling full and satisfied, Goldilocks thought it would be great fun to have a look around. Right away, she noticed a lot of coarse brown fur everywhere. They must have kitties, she said. In the parlor, there were three chairs. Don't mind if I do, she said, climbing into the biggest one. The biggest chair was much too hard, and she couldn't get comfortable. Look at her, upside down. Next, she sat in the medium-sized chair, but that chair was much too soft. She thought she might never get out. So she sunk right down in. Then Goldilocks sat in the little chair, and that was just right, neither too hard or too soft. In fact, she liked it so much that she rocked and rocked until the chair fell completely to pieces. I remember that happening yesterday, too. Now all that rocking left Goldilocks quite tuckered out. I could take a little snooze, she said. So she went to look for a comfy place to nap. Upstairs were 3 beds. Don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks. Remember, she does whatever she wants. And she got into the biggest one, but the head of the biggest bed was much too high. I think I remember yesterday it was too hard. Next, she tried the medium-sized bed, but the head of that bed was much too low. Then Goldilocks tried the little bed, and it was just right. Soon she was all nice and cozy and sound asleep. She did not hear the bears come home. Wow, you can tell that's Baby Bear's room. It's a mess. I hope your room's not that messy. The 3 bears were mighty hungry, but when they went in for breakfast, they could scarcely believe their eyes. Somebody has been in my porridge, said Papa Bear. Somebody has been in my porridge, said Mama Bear. Somebody has been in my porridge and eaten it all up, said Baby Bear. In the parlor, the 3 bears were in for another little surprise. Somebody has been sitting in my chair, said Papa Bear. Somebody has been sitting in my chair, said Mama Bear. Somebody has been sitting in my chair and broken it to smithereens. It's all over the place. They don't look very happy. Look at their faces. They're like, how did this happen? The 3 bears went upstairs on tiptoe, not knowing what they would discover. At first, everything seemed fine, but then Papa Bear lay down on his big brass bed. Somebody has been lying in my bed, he said, and he was not amused. He didn't look amused, he looks angry. Ah, gods! Cried Mama Bear. Somebody has been lying in my bed. Look, cried Baby Bear. Somebody has been lying in my bed, and she's still there. Could you imagine? It's scary. Now see here, roared Papa Bear. Goldilocks woke up with a start, and her eyes nearly popped out of her head. But before the bears could demand a proper explanation, Goldilocks was out of bed, out the window, and on her way home. Look how scared she looks. I'd be scared too if I woke up and saw 3 bears. She jumped out the window. I have no idea, said Mama Bear. Oh, Baby Bear asked, who was that little girl? Mama Bear said, I have no idea, but I hope we never see her again. There she goes, and they never did. Thank goodness. She's not very respectful. Yesterday, I asked you to think about the characters, so the people and the animals in the story. Today, I asked you to think about the setting and looking at the pictures to see where those characters are. If I open it up and I look through some of these pictures to remind myself, where were they? Where were they for most of this story? Goldilocks walked into the 3 bears' home. She ate the porridge, she broke the chair, she fell asleep in the bed, all in the 3 bears' home. The 3 bears came home, and same thing, they saw the porridge in their home, the chairs, the beds, all in their home. So we know that the setting of this story, where the characters are, is in the 3 bears' home. In your packet, remember we have this packet. I hope you've colored your cover by now, made it look nice and pretty. We did this paper yesterday together. Today, we are going to do this paper. It says, what is the setting of the story? What you just talked about. Where was it? Yeah, the 3 bears' home. That's where it was. So colored it like a cabin, a log cabin. That's what it looks like. And right here it says the three bears to tell us that's who lives there. So I want you to get your glue stick. Hopefully you've already cut this out. If you haven't cut it out, start cutting now. And we're going to glue it right on this page. Remember, with our glue, we are not going to roll it up all the way because if it gets stuck, we got to toss it out. You just need a tiny, tiny bit. Look at just my tiny bit of glue. And I'm going to put glue on the back of my house. Just a couple lines of glue to help it stick to my paper. And I'm going to glue it right on there. Here we go. There it is. Just a little bit of glue, and I stuck it right on there. So when it says, what is the setting of the story? Here's a picture of the three bears' home to remind us. I want you to make sure that you hear that click on your glue stick. There's my little click. That's how I know it's closed nice and tight. It's not going to dry out and go in the trash can. Tomorrow we will talk about a different part of the story. So I hope you can come back ready to learn because you're going to have to remember a lot about the story tomorrow. I will see you then.